But early October, it varies a bit from year to year, but about this time most of the apples and pears will probably be ready to be harvested. So these are cobra apples, these are cooking apples. I'm going to put all the cookers in a different crate. So chuck away any manky ones, any chewed ones. Of course they're just a little bit soft, that's when they're ready, and they smell nice as well. And just like twist and pull. Also look around for windfall apples that have just fallen off the tree and make sure they're okay. I have to decide whether the Bramleys are ready. There's some fallen off. There's winds due. I think they're ready. So I'll get all these off. So this tree's been in quite a long time. This is the oldest part of the orchard. And these are really good. I'd really recommend Bramley apples if you want a good cooking apple. They're huge and they're very flawless. They're quite resistant to pests and things, and they make a nice kind of shaped tree as well. So this one is a cobra apple. They're not so good. They're a bit blemished and they're not so nice. And that one's not been in for so long. But the Bramley is always good, even on years where there's a late frost and it kills loads of the apple blossom. The Bramley nearly always has fruit, even on years like that. Just twist and pull. There's loads of them. Although this tree isn't too tall, there's quite a bit of it that's hanging over this cliff edge bit, so it's quite difficult to get to some of them. Ooh. Wow, that's a huge one. So that was quite good. Now we'll start on the quince tree. So quince, it's different. It's I think it's Cydonia, and it's sort of a bit like an apple, bit like a pear, but it doesn't taste very nice. But I treat it like a cooking apple or cooking pear, so I just put them in a separate crate. Some years there's loads of them, and some years there's none, and this year is a pretty good year. I've had to find somebody who'll take them. Usually find somebody who likes to make something out of them. But they are quite gruesome. They juice up quite well, so I'm told. The same, just twist and pull. This variety of quince is called Serbian Gold. So some years it produces loads of fruit, other years it doesn't produce any, but generally it's quite reliable. It's just not terribly tasty. Like so many other trees in the orchard, this one's going to need a really good prune this winter. This is a pear tree called Berry Hardy, and it's really reliable as well. It has pears nearly every year, even when there's a really late frost. It's a little bit hard still. I don't think it's ready yet. It's usually not ready till later, but there are a few fallen off, and that's often a sign that they might be ready, but I don't think these ones are yet, so I'll leave them for a week or two more. When we've been planting this orchard, we've planted quite a lot of different varieties to see how different varieties have done, and then more recently we planted more of the ones that do well. I think this is like a Polish variety, I can't remember the name. It seems like it's almost ready. It's a bit, you don't squeeze it hard, but it's just if it's a little bit soft, it's kind of ready, but I'm not sure. And if you're not sure, just pick one that's maybe not one of your best fruits and just try it and then see if it's ready or not. That's ready. So the same twist and pull. These are lovely. I've got to find my orchard plants so I can remember what they're called, but I think there's some Polish variety with an interesting name. So just going around checking them all. This one's definitely ready. Yeah. Always make sure as you're going, check for manky ones, like that one, and then just lob them. Also, if they've got any nasty like things that look like burrows or something, because there's only one worse thing than finding a maggot in an apple, and that is half a maggot. So lob that away. You don't want that one. That one's a bit gruesome. Lob that one, and those are okay. The apple hasn't got many fruit on this year, and they're not quite ready yet. Still really hard. But last year it was so laden down with its own fruit that a lot of the branches broke. So we gave it a really hard prune. You can see all these new branches growing up. So the result is it hasn't had many fruit this year. But what fruit it does have are bigger than usual. They'll be ready in about 2 weeks, I think. I think these ones are ready. I just have to try one. There's also quite a lot of them hanging over the cliff as well. Wow. All these apples in this crate are all eaters. About half the trees in the orchard are pear trees, but very few of the pears have fruited before. Just a few of them have, like the Berry Hardy and the Berry Alexander Lucas, but most of them haven't fruited until this year. They seem to have to be quite big before they produce fruit, mostly pear trees, and they say you plant pears for your heirs, and sometimes you don't get pears for over a decade after you planted them. And I was just thinking, are these ready or not? They're a bit soft, and they're coming off quite easily, and there's a few of them dropped in the ground. I can't remember what variety it is, but I'm going to try one. I think there's a little one here. Try that. That's really nice. I'm going to put these eating pears with the eating apples because they're all going to be juiced up to make smoothies, so they can all go in together. This is a Dutch pear called Berry Sterkmans. It's still quite hard and there's none on the floor, so that one's not ready yet. This is a Japanese pear, which is Pears pyrifolia, and they're usually reasonably early. They're like sort of weird big apples. Oh, yeah, I think they're ready. They look weird, they're actually pears, but they look like apples. So this pear is sometimes known as the Asian pear, sometimes known as the Japanese pear, and of course nashi is Japanese for pear. So count a bit in Japanese. I go ichi, ni, san, chi, go. Hang on. Rokanana. Hachi. Ooh, Q. Oh, I think it will be a long time before we have hyako pears from this tree. This apple is sunset. It's not ready yet. This is a cooking pear called Cadillac, and it's a really old variety from France. It's not named after the car. It's much older than the car. It's about 400 years old. It's quite late usually. It's a really nice cooking pear. It's not ready yet either. This pear's not really produced anything edible, but if you look, it's stripy, and its name is Humbug. But it has its origins from Ukraine, and it has a different Ukrainian name, but when it's sold over here they call it Humbug. and it's a nice stripy pear, but hopefully it will produce better than this in the future. I think maybe these could do with perhaps a week more. No, they're not ready either. The other gala apple, very hard still, probably another 2 weeks before these are ready, but there's loads of them. Green pear, not ready yet either. These are ready, but not a very good crop this year. This is James Grieve. Well, last year they were all kind of a bit diseased and unpleasant looking. We had to throw most of them away. This year there's just hardly any of them. They're kind of not very nice or kind of yucky. It's a shame because a couple of years we've had them blemish free, and the last 2 years they have been quite nasty. These pears are called Onward. They're alright juiced up, but they're not really that tasty to eat. I have had them cropped before, so this is, I think, its second time it's cropped, but it hasn't had very many. But it's, I don't know how long it's been in, maybe 4 years or something. Needs a good bit of prune and TLC, and hopefully it'll be better next year. But I got a few off it this year. This one's Berry Alexander Lucas, and it has cropped pretty much since we put it in. Nice pears, they taste alright, but this spring it sort of toppled over, and now the whole tree is kind of lying like that. So when I come to prune the trees, I'm going to straighten it, but I don't want to straighten it whilst it's still active. I want to wait till it's dormant before I straighten it, and I'll sort of hammer a post into the ground and tie it up with some tights, because tights are the best thing for tying up trees. And I'll do that in the winter when I prune the trees. So there's still a fair few pears on here, and they're a nice size. When you're putting the pears and apples in the box, always put them in individually and carefully, because they can bruise really easily, and it totally spoils them if they bruise. So always put them in individually and really carefully, and never chuck them in. This apple is scrumptious, and it's not done very well this year. Some years it's totally covered in fruit. It's not quite ready yet, it's very almost ready, but loads of the fruit are split, and there's some nasty hornets burrowing into some over there, and yeah, it doesn't seem so good this year. This one is Cox's Pippin, and it's not ready either. This is another Japanese pear, or Asian pear. This one, the fruit aren't so big, but it's the same variety, Komoi. But this one's not so happy because it's got a bit of a suckering issue. You hear the wild pear rootstockers trying to grow, so I'm not sure if I might need to replace this tree possibly. So these aren't ready either, so I think that will be all the picking apples and pears for today. These ones we picked in like 2 weeks time, when it will be the final harvest, and when I pick the final lot of apples, those ones I can store through the winter, and put them in the crates on top of straw, a layer of apples, another layer of straw, and put them in the shed in somewhere cool and out of sunlight, and they'll last till about early January, like that. So I got 2 crates of quinces, 1 crate of cooking apples, and a crate and a half of eating apples and pears. So that's not too bad. I hope you liked today's video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. If you press the little me that's down there somewhere, then you can see all my other videos, and if you press the bell icon, then you can be notified of when I make videos. But until then, see you next time.